And once again, we have a good crowd to see two of the top teams in the competition. The Swedes are expected to go the distance. The Canadians, well, they could be there too. They really have to sort themselves out in the Final Four.
Interesting comments from Coach Tom Rennie. The Canadians beat the Swedes on February the 3rd in a pre-Olympic game in the Stockholm Games by a score of 6-5. Coach Rennie says he wants the Canadians to go out and play the same type of game, very aggressive in the low offensive zone, and he knows the Canadians are going to have to be quick in their transition game. It's defense to offense where the Swedes can really make a team pay.
Group B are playing today. Group A has the Finns at the top of the table, the Germans, the Czechs, and the Russians. They had to sort those three teams out. That's Germany, the Czech Republic, and the Russians through their goals against each other because they were all tied on 6 points.
Very quickly, the Germans beat the Russians, the Czechs beat the Germans, but the Russians beat the Czechs. It got quite tricky. We worked it all out, and Finland do finish on the top. We do know that. They had 10 points from 5 games. Then go at +1 the Germans, 0, +4 and -4 the Czechs at 0, going second behind the Germans, and then the Russians third with -1. So it's Finland, Germany, the Republic of Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, and then the Russians.
You got through that okay, didn't you? We're getting set for this face-off. A great crowd here, a colorful crowd as you would expect, because people come to this arena and they're able to take off most of their gear and put on all their funny gear, and they seem to do that in numbers. In Group B, the Swedes right now are on top. The Slovaks are a point behind. In second, the Canadians are there, and the USA. But the USA play the Italians tonight. The USA have 3 points. The Italians have 2. If the Italians win that game, they will creep into that 4th and final position. So it's do or die tonight for both teams. That game will be on Eurosport, by the way. So stay with us all day long. We're going to have some great action from the ice hockey arenas.
Not to sound confusing, but the Slovakian-French game seems to be overshadowed. That game is very important because if the Canadians are to beat the Swedes and the Slovaks beat the French, the Slovaks will slip ahead of the Swedes on the top of the table.
Let's take a look at this Canadian lineup. Some great goaltending in New York Rangers star Kori Hiersch. On the defense, Derek Meyer has played well. Brad Wawrinka has been very solid, along with Loveson and Mark Estli. These guys have been fast. They've been able to get the shots away. Up front, what can you say? You've got Norris, Correa, Nedved, Kontos, Waugh. They're all buzzing. They're all starting to gel very nicely.
The Canadians do seem to be clicking better and better as the games go on. The big talk, obviously, was the Correa line playing with Nedved and Kontos. But guys like Brian Savage, Greg Johnson, the veteran Wally Schreiber, a great playmaker, and Greg Parks, they're all starting to find each other, and the Canadians are playing good hockey.
The Swedes, as we anticipated, started slowly, but right now they're reaching their peak. They really are looking sharp, and a lot of people are picking them to go for gold. In your pictures right now, as we come back to the Canadian team, was Peter Nedved. The Czech-born Canadian picked up his passport in 1993. That's why he wears the numbers 93 on his back. He played for Vancouver for 3 years, but had a contract dispute this year and decided to go with the Olympic team. He's got great sponsorship, reputed to be $250,000, so he's here playing for his country, as he calls it, and not in an NHL.
The health report from both teams is positive. The Canadians, the only question mark being Todd Warner. Warner suffered a twisted right ankle, limped off the ice the other day. It's rumored that he might not be seeing any action. We'll have to watch for that one.
Tommy Salo is the Swedish goaltender, and they too have been very solid on defense. Janssen, Dubois, Stillman has been looking good. They miss Kenneth Kenholt. He's got the big shot. He's out with an injury, but they've made up without him, and they really do have a powerful defensive line. Up front, Bobs, what can you say? So many experienced campaigners.
You still got to be a supporter of the guys like Hackenlube and Mats Naslund. The two veterans at 33 and 34 years old just don't stop going. They skate like 19-year-old kids on the ice. Kjellberg, the big forward who had to go at the Montreal lineup last year, he's been looking tough. Roger Hansen has been ever so impressive, number 11. Peter Forsberg, the talk of the town. It's rumored that he might be going to Quebec. They're looking like they're in the playoff picture. They're anxious to get him over there. Patrick Julien has been a good goal scorer for the Swedes, and he's really flying. 5 goals so far in the Olympic Games.
This is the man behind the bench for the Swedes, Kurt Lundmark, assistant to Connie Evanson for a couple of years, and now he's taken over complete control. Tom Rennie is the Canadian coach. The Canadians, with 5 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze over the years, picked up silver a couple of years ago in Maribel. The Swedes looking for that first gold in their history. They have 2 silvers, 4 bronze, 5th in 1992. A surprising finish for them. A lot of people picked them to pick up the gold, and they just couldn't perform on the day.
We see Corey Hirsch going into his net. Paul, you know the kind of pressure that goaltenders are under. We've seen Salo and Elgotson in the Swedish net. Elgotson has got a wife who's very pregnant. There's a car waiting outside the rink at any time. He may be getting a call to fly back to Sweden.
One thing I would like to mention is that the camera work in these Olympics, not just in the hockey games, has been the best I've ever seen. If anyone has been watching the ski jumping, and I'm sure millions of people have been tuning into that great event, you can see the way the camera is almost virtually behind the skier as he takes off, and then as he's coming down, somehow the camera is right in front of him. In ice hockey, cameras all over the rink. They're not abused. Right inside the net, we're seeing some great shots as the players come in, as the puck comes in, and as the goaltender backs in. It really has been exceptional coverage, and we hope you have enjoyed it as much as we have. Getting set for the face-off now. The Swedes, playing from left to right, will look to pick up the points on this one to maintain that first place finish. They know if they end up in first place, they'll play the Russians in the next round, and everybody knows that the Russians are not out of it, but they're not the Russians of old. Jonsson, number 2 for Sweden, passes it right through the center, right up the middle, and the Swedes showing that they can break right from the beginning. Forsberg taken out of the play. A long pass up on the boards. Top of the circle, backhander. Hirsch watches that go by the net, and it's pumped along the boards all the way back to the blue line. Tapped in by Jonsson from the side of the net. The Canadians now on the break. Savage on the left side. Savage playing without that full face mask. Tries to get it up to Norris. Savage and Norris working along the boards, but Forsberg comes in and slows it down and throws it behind the net. Jonsson taps it up. Bergqvist for Sweden. Away from Waugh. That comes back onto the Canadian D. Astley. A rink-wide pass. The Canadians will look for a change. Nedved lets that ride. Nedved goes in hard, and the Swedes tap it along. Waugh couldn't get a stick on it. Julien throws it back onto the blue. Stillman, long clearance into the zone. And Hirsch, with no time at all, hangs on.
Chris Therrien, number 33 for the Canadians, who hasn't had a lot of ice time, was quick to get back and get on Patrick Julien, who was waiting for the rebound around Corey Hirsch's goal.
I guess if you look at the team sheets, you've got to choose the Swedes because of their depth. They certainly have a complete list of really, really good players. A lot of NHL players, NHL draftees, whereas the Canadians, some of them untried, untested, have places to go, but they haven't been anywhere. From the face-off, Julien took a swipe at that. Coming in quickly is Johansson, a big defenseman wearing 34, taps it to the far corner. Waugh slams on the brakes, drags it back, throws it off the back of the net. Therrien drops it in the corner. Waugh is there for Canada. Schreiber breaks up on the wing. The Canadians trapped in behind their own red, started up slowly. Loveson gets it up. Waugh can't control it, and the Canadians have to get out of the attacking zone to avoid the offside. Johansson to the far side. A slow build-up by the Swedes, and that's the kind of thing they do until they get into their stride. Håkon Lube is one who can put them in their stride very quickly. 2 minutes gone on the period. Lube takes a shot. That's upstairs, and Hirish again hangs on as Ornskog and Lube circle the net like the Indians circling the wagon train.
Kori Hirish not able to keep the puck in play. The Swedes, as you said, Paul, circling that wagon train. You had Håkon Lube following his shot up. Ornskog going to the net quickly. Berglund, who had a good first shift for himself, seems to have done something to his arm. We'll have to follow up on that one.
Comes back. Big shot. Rolin really did get a piece of that. Korea now breaks down the left side. Goes by Rolin, looking to get it out front. Korea still hangs on to the puck. 1, 2, 3, 4 Swedes over there. Right in behind the goal. And the Canadians trying to chop it down with Warenka. That doesn't work. Coming up on the wing is Ornskog. Ornskog pressed out of the play. Kjellberg right in front, and Lube was there, but the puck was bounced away. Back on the attack. Johnson against Kjellberg. Kontos goes in. The shot scores! Canada, first goal of the game!
We were talking transition game. That's what it's all about. Defense to offense. The Canadians moving the puck quickly out of their own zone as the Swedes had rushed in at Hirish again. A really nifty move by Johnson along the boards. There he is, number 12. He gets the puck through the Swedish defense. It's picked up very quickly. The Canadians are on the go. Kontos buries the first shot for Canada.
Excellent move, as you said, Bopes, by Johnson. Kontos does the rest. That's number 1. The time of the goal is 2:39 of the first period. A brilliant start against a run of play for the Canadians. From the face-off, the Swedes get it back. Parks in there for Canada, being muscled off the puck as Johnson moves to the far side. Long pass is going to go all the way down the ice. Icing is the call.
Well, the early game plan by the Swedes seems to be to get open up the middle and look for the long pass. They've tried it 3 or 4 times already. Kjellberg trying to play defenseman earlier, not getting enough of the body or the puck at all. Kontos able to pick it up off the stick of Johnson, and the Canadians are on the board.
The Swedes now with Johnson on this side. Coming up to the 3-minute mark, Stillman tries to get it out right in front of his own net. Rudmark breaks up the middle. The Swedes now throwing the puck around nicely in the neutral zone. The Canadians stacking that blue. Quickly on the right side is Bergqvist. He drops it back to Rudmark. Rudmark with Joseph out front patrolling. That bounced off the goaltender. Penalty on the play as the Canadians touch it. Holding the call. Power play, Sweden.
As the referee's trying to make the call, a few other players are still pushing and shoving. He's barking out orders. He now makes his way toward the box. The Canadians are going to be short-handed. Action behind the Canadian goal. The first hit is a good one. That's laid on by Derek Мэйер. Häрлok is in the corner. He's tied up with his man. He's got the grab on him. The stick is being held as the Canadians touch the puck. Häрлok goes to the box for holding.
Rattled off the boards, and we have another face-off on the play. So the Canadians now a man down. Schlegel moves out. Forsberg in the face-off circle. 83% for the Canadians. Stillman fakes the shot. Stillman with a lot of time back there gives it to Bergqvist. Back to Stillman. Bergqvist moves to the blue line, now to the top of the circle, looking for the give and go, and that doesn't work as the Canadians hang on to that box with Schlegel hugging the corner. Stillman the shot. Canada now with a chance to break. Coming up quickly. The Canadians looking for the opening, drop it all the way back in their own zone. Schlegel is back in a hurry. That bounces in the corner. Schlegel picks it up. Hansen doing a great job of forechecking out there for the Swedes. Estli out there doing a number.
Eastli down behind the Canadian goal, very slowly getting up, and he's really not sure where he is yet.
Forsberg came in from about 25 feet, let the shot go, and Hirish is tested.
As the Canadians were struggling to get the puck out of their zone, you can see Eastli is just coming from behind the net. He was down for quite a while. A good save by Hirish.
Eastli did the right thing. Number 24 goes in. He tries to get a stick in the way of it, but he doesn't want to get away in between the shooter and the goalie.
He's already in some kind of pain, Paul, as well. He doesn't want anything to do with the puck.
From the face-off, Johnsson lost out, and the Canadians find an opening. Johansson goes all the way down into his own zone. Salo drops it off. Svensson calling for it on the far side. The forwards come back deep. A lot of circling and curling out there. Naslund working with Johnsson. Back in the corner, Johnsson on the hash marks. Naslund fans on the first pass out, has trouble with the second one. Naslund being pressured into the boards. Johansson lets the shot go to the side. Johnsson got the shot away, and Waugh picks it up. Julien was closing it down on the far side. A chance for the Canadians. Working out front was Parks, and Johansson got a stick on it. The Canadians putting some pressure on the Swedes, even though they're short-handed. Svensson is dropped. Naslund moves in. Still with Naslund. Johansson the shot. 17 seconds now on the power play. The Canadians bringing it deep to kill it off. Norris hangs onto it in the corner. Savage is there too. 5 seconds, and the Canadians, as far as they're concerned, are doing the right thing by just hanging on that puck. Johansson on the far side. The Canadians are back at full strength.
Häрлok back out of the box for Canada. Savage doing a good job on the penalty kill with Norris.
Good stuff by the Swedes with Kjellberg picking up that one-timer in the neutral zone. That bobbles down. Norris gives it away. Ornskog is there. Ornskog and Norris. Aucoin moves in now. Aucoin loses his stick, picks it up, and taps it back to Warenka. Warenka for Canada looks for an opening high into neutral ice territory. And Duboya for Sweden brings it through his own circle. 6 minutes gone in the first period. Hack and Lube in neutral ice. Lube gets around Norris. Another move by Lube. And the third one doesn't work, and the race is on now. Right in front, Korea just could not handle that bouncing puck. The ice already a little choppy out there. Schlegel in neutral ice territory just hammers it right back in. That bounces, Korea can't pick it up. Ornskog gets a tip, and the Canadians float it down the ice.
Canadians proving very quickly that they've got the legs to go with the Swedes. A good break there, bad bounce for Paul Korea.
Long pass tipped away by Eriksson. Rudmark goes after his man. The Canadians settling it down, tap it in the corner. Johnsson goes to take his man out. And Canada now, backhander goes in. Waugh was right there, but so was Salo. And the Canadians looking very sharp in the first 7 minutes of play. Everyone comes out of the zone as Johnsson goes back. The Canadians and Nedved back in quickly. Johnsson up on the wing. Good pass in a neutral ice territory. Rudmark squeezed out of the play by Eastli, who's back on the ice. Мэйер to Eastli. You can hear the yells from the Canadians. Keep it going, keep it going. Along the boards, cleared out by Schreiber. All the way down, and Salo bats it all the way up onto the wing. Johnsson, the big defenseman. Long pass, batted down. Мэйer throws it through. The Canadians being hooked out of the play. Hansen doing a good job on Parks. Parks went in with a big check. Häрлok throws it forward. Lusko tries to get the pass up, and just about every Canadian that's on the bench has had a shift on the ice. Bergqvist is brought down in the circle. Forsberg muscles right on the edge and continues to push and shove. Penalty coming up.
Bergqvist coming over the blue line found himself in a lot of traffic, a lot of red shirts around him. Derek Мэйер gets the hooking call. The Swedes will go back to the power play.
6 for 25 in this tournament. 84%. It went up a little after they killed off the last one. Forsberg moves into the face-off circle. That comes back, and Bergqvist gets it onto the blue. Stillman, a little tap to Bergqvist. Bergqvist running out of places to go. That's thrown in the center. Jansson taps it into the circle, and Jansson gets the return pass. The Swede setting it up nicely as Hansen moves in the center. Stillman wants it over here. The one-timer, Hirsch has got it. Loveson stays on Hansen as Härlok moved over, or Härlok's in the back. As Härlok, rather, moved over and took out the big forward in the corner. That's what I was trying to say.
Härlok and Loveson, a couple of stay-home defensemen, doing a good job of holding the back of the box, and there was good communication. They were constantly yelling to Wally Schreiber and Greg Johnson up front.
Parks unable to control that bouncing puck. That comes all the way back onto the D, and the Canadians set up the box as the Swedes continue to throw it around nicely. Big shot. It's underneath the goalie and trickles back behind the red line. That comes all the way back, and Jansson is not there to keep it in. That was so close. Hirsch went down, lost it completely on that big shot. Forsberg rattles that in. Going in quickly is Hansen. Hansen is one of these guys that doesn't get the press that the Lubes and the Forsbergs get, but he's always there. Forsberg back to Jansson, back to Forsberg. Forsberg, big shot right there. Hansen! Whoa! Big goal off that rebound.
Corey Hirsch has been stopping the first shot, but on a couple of occasions he hasn't been able to control the rebound. This time he's not sure where it is, or even if he is sure, Hansen's a little quicker and he just pounces on it. The Swedes setting it up at the blue line. Jansson dropping it off. Forsberg lets it go at the net. Corey Hirsch, that is, makes a good first save. But watch Hansen. Stays out of the play. Now he steps in, puts it upstairs for an easy goal. A power play effort, and the Swedes are level.
8:57 the time of the goal. And the Canadians with Мэйер coming back on the ice. Norris, Warenka trying to get away from Yulin. Savage unable to hang on to that, and the Canadians, Warenka goes deep. Norris circles, and we have a change of line out there for the Canadians. A long pass up. Yulin doing some nice work in neutral ice territory. Pass up on the left wing. That was nice from number 5. Looking for the wraparound right out front. Yulin goes in, tries to get it up. Hirsch is down. And still continuous pressure as Naslund was camped right out on the crease. Salo stops that one. Relentless pressure now from the Swedes, and a great round of applause from this big crowd here in Håkons Hall. A long flip in as Warenka goes back. Pressure from Jansson. Norris. Pass up now. Shot right on the goal. Rebound as Savage went in. Looking for the wraparound right out front. The Canadians, another shot wide of the target. Salo went down. Savage is there. And the Canadians keep it in the zone. A bouncing puck goes into the corner. And Jansson picks it up. Passed up on the wing to Lube, who drops it back quickly. Jansson to Lube. Lube tees it up. Shot right there. The rebound is right out front. Naslund had moved in quickly but couldn't get the shot away. Again, it comes out front. And Schreiber taps it back, and the Canadians are on the move now. Nedved with a little move of his own. Shot from a sharp angle. And Salo gloves it down, hesitates, and hangs on.
Great action from both teams. Hirsch at one end of the ice. Salo at the other end. Both seeing the play coming their way in a hurry. It's Lube and Naslund at one end, and quickly Nedved going the other way. Salo holding on.
1-1 the score here. This is live action on Eurosport from Håkons Hall in Lillehammer. What a game this is turning out to be. Nedved tries to get the shot right from the face-off. Nedved from behind the net can't control it. Waugh goes in. Waugh. Nedved. Schreiber being pushed by Jonsson. Waugh chases. Nedved stays out front. Stillman just taps it along the boards, and the Swedes bring it out slowly with Lube pushing it in front of the net. 11 minutes have gone in this first period. 1-1 the score. Little tap up by Kjellberg. Ornskog shot, her save. Big push there on Lube as the Swedes bang it off the boards. The Canadians will get it out and move up. That somehow eluded the Canadians, and Waugh has to throw it deep to set it up again for Canada. Nedved behind his own goal. Breaks the same way as Waugh. That comes into neutral ice territory. Nedved circles back, and the Swedes are trying to cut down the Canadians before they reach their own blue. Pass right up the middle. Nedved is breaking free. Another shot. Jonsson got the stick from the side of the net, and it came out front. There was no one there to pick it up. Schlegel taps it in. A loose puck in there. Waugh can't get the stick on it. And again, the Canadians fight for it. Schlegel taps it into the hash marks, and the Canadians having a good spell on the puck.
The Canadians need a change. Nedved's been out there a long time.
Lube, who has also been out there for a long shift, taps it back. Jonsson, who seems to never leave the ice, still out there. Korea got the pass from Savage, or from Jonsson rather, and Jonsson, number 2, gets rid of it. Comes back into the corner, and Rudmark for the Swedes picks it up. Hits the blue line, drops it back. Big shot deflected into the corner. Savage. A little tip behind the goal. Korea into neutral ice territory. Kontos wants it and gets it. A high flick. Salo grabs it, eventually throws it down and bats it up. He hung on to that puck a long, long time. Aucoin all over his man, and play has now been whistled dead, but you got to question that non-call on the goaltender. He seemed to hang on to that for about 5 seconds.
Both sets of spectators screaming and yelling for penalties. Offsides is the eventual call. Aucoin manhandling a couple of Swedes during the shift. We've seen a couple of line changes by Coach Tom Rennie as well, Paul. You were shaking your head a couple times, but I'm going to assure you, you've got it exactly spot on calling those players. Waugh has been out there with Nedved and Schreiber. We've seen Korea with Savage and Jonsson, and also with Jonsson and Kontos.
Forsberg, the backhand is not a good clearance. Aucoin takes a shot, loose puck in front, the Canadians rattle it. Salo dives for the post as Joseph took a swipe at it. Warenka rattles it off the boards, and it goes over the boards and right into the Swedish bench.
Swedish bench, I guess so. In a hurry, Elgatsson ducking very quickly. He's on the bench without his mask. I don't know if he's thinking about his wife in Sweden or what, but he had to get out of the way in a hurry. Good action by the Canadians again. Aucoin directing it to the goal. Fabian Joseph is right around the front of the net. There's a shot taken by Lushko. That goes just wide. It's good end-to-end stuff.
Joseph pushes that forward, but Rolin gets it, can't get it out of the zone. And now the Swedes clear it out, and we have a whistle on the play. Going to be penalties coming up here. Salo has words with Slapka, the referee, roughing on the play, and Salo is not happy.
Salo's having words with a few Canadians as well. He's not happy with the call the referee's making. Right in front of the goal, Parks is involved. He's right there. He spun around. Salo gives him one heck of a shot from behind. If Parks is smart, he'll just let it go, and that's exactly what he does. His arms go in the air. Salo will be penalized. The referee was right behind the play.
Salo thought Parks was interfering with him. Perhaps he was, but Slapke turned around and saw the retaliation from the goaltender. (1-1) the score here in the first period. An explosive first period from both teams. Both goalies tested almost from the opening face-off. Wide open hockey, and that's the kind of thing the fans have come to see.
It'll be interesting to see what Tom Rennie does with his power play now. The Swedes have scored a power play goal. We're accustomed to seeing Kontos come out onto the ice with Nedved and Korea in a lot of situations. Korea is sitting on the bench right now, as well as Nedved.
Kjellberg goes to sit out that 2-minute penalty by the goaltender. Dubois, big hit on him behind the net. He can only get it out as far as the blue. The Swedes trying to muscle that on the far side. Parks unable to control it, but it comes into the slot and eventually tipped into the corner. The Canadians are skating for all they're worth out there. Forsberg gets a high stick up. Korea gets a high stick up, muscling along the boards, and the Swedes dump it down the ice. Some great stuff as Aucoin moves deep for Canada. Long pass up is not a good one, and the Swedes will just fire it all the way down to Hirsch's doorstep. 1:18 on the power play. Canada now started up. Warenka hits his own blue, comes up to the red, tips it up. Norris leaves it off. Shot on goal. Aucoin moving up quickly, and that goes high. We have another face-off, and this man here, Norris, is one of the snipers on the Canadian team. Drafted number 5 by Quebec in '90 from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Still only 23 years of age. Really has a lot of hockey to come. Getting set for this face-off with Savage moving in, and the officials want to make sure everyone is out of the face-off circle. You can see П.Слапке saying, hey, keep out of the circle and let's change over the centermen. Naslund moves in and wins the draw, and the Swedes do not hesitate to fire it deep. 1 minute now on the power play. Savage breaks to the right and gets the pass. Savage coming up nicely. A chance to shoot, goes into the high slot area. Estli throws it along the boards, and that's riddled back out to the blue line. Canada keeping it in. Johnson doing a great job for Canada back on the blue, and here come the Swedes. A 3-on-2 situation. Pass over on the wing. Chance a shot taken there by Johnson, and it was cleared away. Norris slams on the brakes. 28 seconds on the power play. Here come the Canadians. Johnson moving up quickly. This guy can skate. A little tip through, and Korea tries to get it going. Shot goes in. That bounces right in front, and Salo was quick to grab it.
Norris and Johnson coming together, nothing there, but a couple of other players having a little go after the whistle once again. Korea lining up with Johnson and Savage. That line is continuing to play together. Jorgen Janssen with a shot of his own at the other end of the ice.
Another face-off in Swedish territory with less than 5 minutes to go on the clock. Nedved moves in for Canada. Nedved tries to get it back. The Canadians digging it out of that mess of players on the far wing. Schreiber working hard. 7 seconds on the power play. Schreiber elects to dump it back. Schreiber on the hash marks. Loses out, and Johansson with a chance to flip it out can only go to the hash marks. Lube moves in now, and the Swedes are back at full strength. As the whistle blows, the puck pinned against the woodwork. Johansson, big number 34, 6'1", 190, but when you put him on skates, he's a lot bigger than that, and he really has been impressive for the Swedes. As we get a good glimpse of King Harald of Norway, who really enjoys his hockey. This guy is here for just about every hockey game. And he almost took part in a wave the other day. He was amused, as we said, from the face-off. Waugh tries to poke that in front. Svensson is there. Lube gets it away, and Kjellberg goes after Schlegel. Schlegel gives it to Мэйер. Мэйer takes a sidestep and misses the hit and gets the puck out of the zone. The Canadians now with 3 players breaking up. Waugh, who's been playing some good hockey against Ornskog. Waugh again, muscles in the corner. Ornskog gets back, shakes off a check from Schreiber, gets the puck to the far side. Good stuff from Ornskog, the big center. Coming up now, Svensson. Svensson hits the brakes, puts it into the corner. Lube is there. Lube hesitates against Schreiber, and the Canadians come up with a puck. Meyer in front of his own goal. Canada looking a lot more confident they have in the past, and certainly are not overawed by this powerful Swedish team. Not at this stage anyway. Schlegel to Meyer. Meyer, good pass up to Johnson. The Canadians shot off the backboards. Going in for it is Kontos. He puts that behind the goal. The Canadians bobbing and waving, a chance to shoot right in front. Loose puck is there, dribbles into the corner. Korea wants it back at the blue. All the way back, Korea traps it and flips it high as that goes into the corner. Wawrinka still up there playing position, his forward position. Korea is hooked down right in front. And the Canadians unable to get that shot away as the Swedes tighten it up in the zone. Moving up quickly now. The Swedes, a long clearance into the far corner. Bergqvist got that away, and Canada get back quickly as both teams try to get fresh legs out there. Rydmark taps it into the corner. Bergqvist taken out of the play. Wawrinka scoots it up on the wing to Johnson. Back to Wawrinka. Long pass is deflected away. Icing is the call, as no one actually touched that, and face-off will be down in the Canadian zone as Rydmark takes a break.
Canadians we knew would come out and be tough along the boards, but the Swedes are showing that they're not going to give an inch. Along the boards, especially in their own end of the ice, the Swedes are winning a lot of those battles and being able to clear the puck out.
The Swedes are so physical. They can stay with anyone in the world when it comes to working in that department. Lushko goes in. Oh, big hit by Lushko on Stillman. Stillman somehow got up to clear the puck out of the zone. Lushko was going about 100 miles an hour when he hit him. Joseph drops it off, and the Canadians started up. 4 Swedes back. Big shot comes in from the Blues. Salo sends it sailing.
Couple of grinders out there, Todd Lushko and Greg Parks. These guys can really make it happen for Canada. We've seen it already. Greg Parks, not a very big guy. Well, I say not a big guy, about the same size I am, Paul. It's not too bad, 5'9", 180. Nothing wrong with that. He really plays like a big guy out there, though. He's really getting his body stuck in, and he moves the puck nicely. Lushko's got a good shot, and these two guys are creating problems.
Getting set for this face-off, the Canadian Parks goes down in a position. Parks falls down as Lushko moves in. Joseph, who's not very big, goes in there too. Lushko with the puck. Can't get away from Stillman. Stillman is double teamed by Lushko, and Joseph comes back into the circle, and the backhander just does not come from Parks. Parks takes a hit. Wawrinka a little slice away from Janssen. Janssen goes in, and the Canadians being muscled along, and they give as good as they get. Into the corner. Stillman is out front. Canada trying to throw the puck out, and Parks is hit again. Forsberg really got the shoulder up, and the Swedes continue to apply the pressure when it comes to throwing their weight around.
Good work again by Joseph and Parks. Thomas Janssen, number 2, the veteran defenseman. He's a tough guy to play against. He's like a piece of Velcro. He's always going to get a piece of you somehow.
Forsberg gives that one away in neutral ice territory. Savage down. Hansen spins him around. Hansen maintains his position in the corner. Savage gives him a big hit from behind as the whistle blows. It is physical in those corners, believe me. And that's about all Rennie does, doesn't he? He blinks his eyes. He doesn't say anything. As we said in a previous game, Tom Rennie went to the Viktor Tikhonov School of Facial Expressions. It's the shortest course on earth. It only lasts a couple of seconds rather. It's just deadpan, deadpan, deadpan.
I mean, possibly the referee wanting to make sure that people in the building haven't forgotten that he's on the ice, making a call there that I would question. Savage and Hansen just playing good, tough hockey. The sticks weren't up. I didn't really see a cross-check on that. It was a push and a shove. That's about it.
1 minute remaining. And again, the Swedes have a power play. This is their third power play. Hirsch taps it on its way. Hirsch is dumped. And another penalty coming up.
Well, Paul, maybe between me and all the people in the building that are yelling at the ref, he felt like he had to even that one up. Hirsch was taken out of the play. Interference is the call. That'll even the score. The teams will be 4 aside.
So Julien sits, and both penalties will move on into the next period. 1-1 is the score here. Face-off, because it was a Swedish penalty, comes out of the zone. Jörgen Jansson in there for the Swedes, and the Canadians getting it all the way back and all the way down the ice. Icing is the call.
Face-off will come back down into Kori Hirsch's end of the ice. Both teams skating 4-on-4.
Excellent atmosphere in Håkons Hall, and it's been like this since day one. People come here in fancy dress. They bring their drums and their bugles and their accordions. Nedved from the face-off steers it back in against Ornskog as the Canadians set it up and bring it out. Nedved pass up on the wing. Wawrinka trying to move up. Wawrinka muscled out of the play nicely. Schreiber is there. Stillman doing a great job on the D for the Swedes. Wawrinka, and the pass just behind. 10 seconds. Lube drops it back. The seconds ticking down. Jansson, big shot. That comes to Hirsch. He throws it out just a couple of seconds now. And there goes the buzzer to end the first period. A great first period of hockey. Konto started it out for Canada. And then Hansen leveled the score for the Swedes.
It's been non-stop action right from the drop of the puck, Paul. We've got 15 minutes to have a quick shower. This one is heating up. The teams will go to the dressing rooms to talk it over. It is dead even hockey as far as I'm concerned. Both sides are really skating well.
1-1 the score. More action coming up in a moment on Eurosport. Good action here between Sweden and Canada. An excellent crowd in Håkons Hall, and the score after 20 minutes of hockey is 1 apiece. Both teams have a man in the box.
Brian Savage will return in 55 seconds. Patrick Julien has 1 minute and 19 to go on his penalty. The Swedes outshot the Canadians 17-9 in the first 20 minutes of play. But what counts is what's on the scoreboard, and it's 1 apiece.
Savage up against Forsberg. The Canadians going back on the D, or going on the attack as the Swedes go back on the D. And the Swedes now bringing it out slowly. Pass up to Forsberg. Forsberg slows it down. Big shot upstairs, bounces off the plexi, and the Canadians get back in a hurry to sort this one out. Loveson can't hang on to that puck along the board. Stillman sends that high into the zone. Herрлok for Canada just drops it off. And here comes Korea. Korea with a burst of speed down the right side. Korea, another burst of speed, tries to get away from Stillman. Right on the money. And Salo, with Savage all over him, hangs on and makes the save. The Canadians will be back at full strength in a couple of seconds, right to the doorstep. Hirsch kicks it out. Canada have the man advantage now. Pass up on the wing. And the two-liner is called as the puck was touched by Savage over the red line. The pass originated on the wrong side of the blue line.
Canadians with a few seconds to go on the power play. Julien getting set to come out of the box. Next goal in this game is going to be a big one because both of these two teams are playing excellent hockey. It's a game of momentum. There's a lot of time left to go in this one, though.
Aucoin up to the boards, and Park is hit. And the Canadians have to go back with Warenka up on the left side. He's got Parks up on the wing. Warenka goes to the right. Norris, big shot. Salo makes the save. Johansson clears it away only as far as Warenka. Warenka taps it in front. The loose puck is there. That's upstairs! Number 2 for Canada. Salo was down on his back. The loose puck was between the pads and he just couldn't close it down.
Norris got it started with a great shot. The save was made. The Swedes unable to clear. Warenka keeping the puck in. He directs it to the goal. Parks is around the net trying to cause havoc. Johansson is covering him. Quick to jump on the puck is Lushko, and the Canadians are out in front. Salo doesn't know where the puck is. Once he realizes he's unable to come up with it.
Salo was kind of tied there. The right hand was back with the stick, and he just couldn't free himself to get it up and get his body up. 1:26 the time of the goal. The Canadians have taken the lead again. Dubois. Ornskog being shadowed by Nedved. Nedved dragging him back with the hook as Terrien goes in. We got a whistle on the play, and there's the indication for hooking. You get away with that in the National Hockey League, but you don't get away with it here. Nedved, you can see how he feels about that.
Well, we've said it a few times before, and both of the North American teams, the Canadians and the Americans, have made comments in the press that they know the European officials are tough. They know they watch it closer. Nedved doesn't have his legs going. He's coasting. The Swedish player, Ornskog, is skating. Nedved puts a stick on him. He knows better, I'm sorry to say, but every time the Canadians get the momentum going, they aren't going to be able to afford to take penalties.
Ornskog is told to leave the circle, and Kjellberg steps in to take over the face-off duties. Johnson tries to kick it back, but the Swedes get it back on the far side. Svensson, a little short pass, rink-wide pass. Lube, all the way back to the blue. Lube again. Lube is so dangerous out there. Lube with Kjellberg out front. Ornskog all the way back to the blue. Svensson calling for it in the high slot. The Canadians set up the box. The Swedes try to close it down. Kjellberg was right in front as Ornskog moved in, and that's cleared away, and we'll have another face-off.
Corey Hurst just moving side to side, making sure he's got a view of the puck. He keeps his pads together, he stands up, and he just makes the save look easy.
Two to one the score, the Canadians leading. Excellent start here in the second period for Canada. The Swedes now on the power play with Nedved in the box for hooking. Ornskog still out there. That goes back to Harlock, who spends most of his game killing off penalties for the Canadians.
Harlock and Loveson both are good defensive defensemen, and Coach Rennie knows that. They get a lot of ice in shorthanded situations.
Pass up the middle is tipped away, and that goes all the way down the ice. Icing is the call. Later on today, the Slovaks play the French and the Americans play the Italians. Now, if you weren't listening at the top of the program, the Italians have 2 points, the Americans have 3, and they're both fighting for that fourth and final position to go into the next round. If the Americans win it, they're comfortably there. If the Italians win it, they've just squeezed in.
A draw would favor the Americans as well.
Forsberg leaves it for Janssen. Janssen being shadowed by Joseph as Forsberg. Nice pass up on the wing. That eluded Bergqvist for a moment. The Canadians got it. All the way back to Jonsson. Jonsson backhands it onto the hash marks. Forsberg, the return pass from the corner. The Swedes standing around. Now they start to move it. 45 seconds with Bergqvist. Forsberg rattles that off the side of the cage. Shot comes in. Hansen is right by the side. This guy is the danger man as far as I'm concerned out there. Stillman lays the shot in. Hansen is right there. Forsberg moves in, elects to go deep, all the way back to the blue, back to Jonsson. Jonsson throws it back to the far side. Stillman the shot. Hirsch is there. And the Canadians, Joseph, peppers it down the ice. 16 seconds on the power play. The Swedes quick to get it back up. Bergqvist drops it off. Forsberg looking for places to go. Back to the blue to Jonsson. Jonsson into Bergqvist. Back to Jonsson. 1 second. Shot. Hirsch makes a save. Forsberg breaks for it. Kontos goes in, then skates away. The Canadians are back at full strength. Sweden continue to apply the pressure from the side of the net. And Joseph picks it up. Kontos breaks quickly. Kontos now. No room to move in neutral ice territory as that's batted right in again. Schlegel for Canada. Long pass up. Kontos tries to feed it up to number 12, Johnson. The Swedes brought it over the line. Rolin brings it out. Pass upon the wing. Canada getting back in numbers on Jonsson. Loose puck. Julin starts it up on the left side. A little chop by Lovson. Lovson takes his man out of the play, but the Swedes hang on to it. That's deflected away down the ice. Salo comes way out of his net to throw it into neutral ice territory as Lovson. Rink-wide pass. Canada coming up quickly. Korea shot right on the target. Batted away by a stick. And the Swedes get it out of harm's way. 5 minutes gone on the period. 2-1 the score. The Canadians hanging on to that lead as Lushko gives it to Nedved. Correction, Terrien. Right in front of the goal. The Canadians started up slowly. Schlegel. Schlegel working with Johnson. A chance now for the Swedes. Lou right in front. Scores! Håkon Lou moved into scoring position as Hirsch moved out to cut down the angle.
It all started in the neutral zone again. The Canadians having their play broken down. The Swedes quick to come forward. The Canadian defense backing off enough to let Håkon Loob make 1 or 2 extra moves. It's all a guy like this is going to need. He's been given the blue line. The defense are way back. There to the hash marks. Håkon Loob steps in, gets into the slot area. You can see the room he's got, pulls the puck back right in the slot. That's a spot that Håkon Loob likes to be in, and he makes no mistake.
.19 gone in the period, and it's all level once again. From the face-off, Ornskog gets it back, and it's thrown up quickly, and the Swedes coming right in on goal. A big hook. Astley touches it, and that's going to be yet another penalty. Well, the high stick indication is there. It could have been a hook, it could have been a high stick, and Rennie is becoming more and more animated back there.
Not happy at all with the call. Rennie finally showing some emotion, as you said, Paul. Kjellberg, a big guy, not the easiest guy to pull down. The stick is up around his shoulder. Look earlier at the Håkon Loob shot, keeping it low, picking his corner. The Canadians are back in the penalty box, a place where they don't want to be. Мэйер in there for high sticking at 5:28.
Svensson along the boards. That goes into the corner as the Swedes set it up with Loob. Loob is having a great game as he throws that puck right in front, and Kjellberg was there, and it went between his skates and his stick. Along the boards, Canada trying desperately to get it out of the zone. Lushko does the job. Johansson quickly up to his own blue to Svensson. Svensson is hit and he gives it away. Canada coming in quickly. Shot by Joseph. Misses the far post, and the Canadians will jump on this and get it out of the zone. Lube with Ornskog and Kjellberg. Ornskog goes in. Wawrinka stays on him. Wawrinka gets the stick on it. Kjellberg calls for it and gets it. Kjellberg with a little time behind the net throws it into the near corner to Lube. Håkon Lube slowly out to the top of the slot. Shot. Hurst goes down. 1 minute remaining on the penalty as Norris rattles that off the boards and it goes the distance.
The Canadians lucky that that shot went wide. Wawrinka in front of the goal having all kinds of problems with Kjellberg.
Svensson takes a chop and loses out to Norris. Norris continues to skate with it and he runs into trouble when he meets up with Hansen. Excellent play by Hansen. A chance now for the Swedes. Hurst goes down. Loose puck in front. Hurst totally out of position as that was shot down the ice.
Norris not taking any chances the second time, just ices the puck.
23 seconds now on the power play for the Swedes. They really are applying the pressure. Bergqvist wraps around the net. Hansen goes one way. Bergqvist turns around and looks for places to go. High slot shot, ricochets. Stillman got a piece of that. Loveson can only clear it as far as the top of the circle. Stillman taps it in, looks for the return pass. The Canadians with Herlock on it. Herlock is spun around and the Canadians are back at full strength. Johnson into Hansen. Hansen tries to pick it up and he does. Johnson goes after it. Johnson is there. Johnson moving in, looking for the return pass from Bergqvist, but Bergqvist is running into trouble out there along the boards. Forsberg tied up by Loveson. Hansen moves in. Loveson does not want to give an inch. Forsberg isn't giving much away either out there. It took a long time for that whistle to come.
The referee watching the rough stuff along the boards very closely. He's really keeping an eye on it, and he doesn't want to see things get out of hand or too much of the stick work going in there. Forsberg having a good duel with Ken Loveson. Loveson making sure he stays on the defensive side of the puck and the body.
There's a lot of talk about that youngster Forsberg going to Quebec after this competition is over. They're just trying to sort out one or two minor details, like how much.
It's generally it's a banking situation. They're looking at the Canadian dollar with respect to the rest of the world currencies.
Who knows? It may be the Quebec dollar someday. And that's one of the problems right now. Face-off, Rudmark loses out, and Canadians with Kontos along the boards. Schlegel loses his stick. That could be costly. Kontos gets it away. Coming to the near side, Canada with time to get it out of the zone, and they do. Long passes, tipped away. A chance now as Dekel out there for the first time, circles the net. Dekel through the circle, hits the blue, feeds it right back into Rudmark. Dekel moves up, he's poked by Kontos, and the Canadians now in neutral ice territory. Hit the blue, three players forward, four Swedes back. Salo gets it up. Kontos can't keep it in, and both teams changing on the fly out there. Big hit as Rudmark moved in. The Canadians along the boards. Astley. Duboya. Astley again, whether he wants to or not, got that one high up, and Astley circles with 9 minutes gone on the second period. 2-2 the score. Ross slowly circles back up the ice. The pass up to Nedved was a good one, but Johansson really had Nedved rope and tied out there. The Canadians with three players within a couple of feet of each other now. Could they be caught? The long pass doesn't come as Johansson tries to set things up. He steps over the red and fires it in to the far side. Canada now in their own zone. Savage trying to work it out. Schreiber. A little clearance right on the doorstep. The backhander comes in. Canada with Nedved on the far side. Ornskog tips it out nicely to Svensson. Svensson has room to move on the near side as he flips it in the corner. The Canadians getting back in numbers. Both teams are doing a great job in the defensive zone at tying these guys up when they're in there. Wawrinka. Nedved can't take it away from Yulin. Yulin against Wawrinka. And some great stick handling by J.Lien, but eventually it drops kindly for the Canadians. Hurst tries to slow it down, and he doesn't. The Swedes continue to hang on to that puck. Aucoin grabs Naslund, and Naslund goes for a skate and slows it right down.
The team's changing on the fly. The Canadians had to wait till the puck came out of their zone.
Warenka and Joseph working against Kjellberg. Warenka, who really has put in a fine series so far, loses out there, and the shot comes in. Noob is right there. Kjellberg is there, and the Canadians break quickly back on the attack. And Nedved double tracks to gain a little support. Nedved heads up hockey, stick handling through the red line. Throws it in the corner, and Canada now with a little pressure on the Swedes as they try to work it out front. Nedved takes a shot in the net! Salo was down, and Nedved let it fly.
Salo seemed to be dozing off in his net. You can see the Canadian coaching staff. I was going to say it, Paul. When the Swedes came close at the other end of the ice, Warenka went into the corner. He didn't really play the body that well, but Aucoin followed him into the corner, leaving the Canadian net wide open. Both defensemen trapped behind the goal. The Canadians escape. The coaches are sorting that one out. At the other end of the ice, Nedved has a great shot, lets it go. Salo gets a piece, but it's not enough.
From a different angle, as you say, he got the touch on it. That's over the red line. 3-2, the Canadians again go into the lead. And once again, folks, we see the Canadians against the run of play, capitalizing on what has come their way. The Canadians pumping that in as Lushko was dragged down, and really the pressure has been coming from the Swedes. Bergqvist being followed by Rudmark. Bergqvist, good move. Hurst was there, excellent stick handling and offensive maneuvering from the Swedes out there. Through the circle now. Dubois wants it in the corner. Some clutching and grabbing on Forsberg, and Lushko frees the puck as the Canadians break quickly. Parks picks it up now. Parks goes in with a chance to shoot, lets it go right on the money. And Salo comes up with a save, and everyone starts to get physical. Dubois fell to his knees and got up in a hurry.
Close call as Salo again makes the first save, but he didn't have a clue where the puck was. He just jumped, literally left his feet to go to his knees to try and hold on. Bergqvist with a great move. He turns Häрлok inside out. That is a nice move. Good save by Hirsch.
Well, we're seeing a feast of excellent teamwork, and that's the whole basis on which the Swedish ice hockey is built. But we're all seeing some great individual stuff, and it's not just from the Swedes, it's from the Canadians and the Swedes. J.Lien, good move as he gets around Estli. J.Lien goes in, the save is there. J.Lien tried to take a swipe at it, and Jonsson came in and fanned on it. And talk about great individual hockey out there. How about that? The Canadians unable to get over the blue line, as Korea had to double back to avoid the offside whistle. Norris now goes for a skate. A rink-wide pass is not a good one, but excellent stuff out there.
Canadian coaches have got to be taking notes on some of these moves. Häрлok beaten the first time. Estli turned inside out by J.Lien.
Naslund, pass up on the wing. J.Lien breaks right in front, and this time Ludson stays on him. Savage wants it to come his way. Terrien puts his head down and muscles against the boards as he holds Jonsson in check. What a hockey game out there.
Great action from both teams. We just saw Häрлok beaten by Bergqvist. This time, J.Lien coming off the bench, and he walks around Mark Estli, who's a very quick defenseman. Estli caught looking for that puck for a split second. J.Lien walking around him. J.Lien, the guy who had the hat trick against the U.S.
Solid goaltending from Kori Hursch. And that seems to be the key so far for the Canadians.
J.Lien with 5 goals in the Olympics. Him and Rolston from the Americans leading the way, 5 goals apiece.
The shot off the face-off from Lube bounced over to the near side, and Lube picks it up again. Little pass back onto the D. Stillman throws it right up the middle, and here come the Swedes. Lube winds up, big shot. Hursh comes up again with another key save. 7 minutes remaining on the period as that bounces down. Canada with 2 players breaking, 2-on-2 situation, and the Canadians with Schreiber working from the corner. Schreiber, a good move. Back to the far side, a chance. Wawrinka takes the shot. Salo goes down, but that was going wide of the target. Aucoin from the top of the circle, along the boards. Waugh leaves it there for Schreiber. Schreiber, who has had a good series too, along the boards with Stillman. And the whistle blows.
Janssen and Nedved mud wrestling around the front of the goal. The two of them slipping off each other a few times. Good duel, the referee just slowing things down. The puck was knocked down with a high stick. That was the reason why the whistle actually blew, but he went over and cautioned both Nedved and Janssen to cool it.
Face-off in Swedish territory with Nedved going in for the Canadians. Rudmark for Sweden. That comes back with top of the circle. Herlock with a chance to shoot, throws it into the corner. And I must admit that the Swedes are a lot better and a lot faster at setting it up in the Canadian zone, but the Canadians hang on to it. Korea lets the shot go from the side of the net. The puck is brought out, and that bounces in there. Kontos was right there. Kontos, Korea, and Nedved. Awesome threesome are back together for Canada.
In this second period, the Canadians have started winning a lot of the battles along the boards. In the first period, we saw the Swedes a little quicker on the puck, really fighting and muscling it out of the zone. In this period, the Canadians seem to be really applying pressure of their own and coming up with that puck and going right back at Tommy Salo's goal.
Such a great sight to see, with children, grown-ups of all ages, and the various nationalities all mixing together, enjoying this hockey game. How can you not enjoy a move like that? Forsberg was in. Forsberg the shot, the rebound, and Hursh bats it away. Hansen goes after Kontos, and Hursh and Forsberg mix it up. And whenever you go near a goaltender, you can expect a rough ride from your defenseman.
Not the smartest penalty in the world once again, taken by the Canadians. Forsberg showing his muscle, taking the first shot. He's over the blue line, puts a move on. Мэйер starts to fall for it. The puck goes off his stick. Forsberg gets a shot away. Hursh clears the puck, and Мэйer comes right back into the picture and really lays it on Forsberg.
Forsberg then goes into Hursh, and it all started to go wrong. Cross-checking is the call. 14-12 the time of the penalty as the wave goes round and round this building. Face-off deep in Canadian territory. Forsberg stays out there. Hansen is out there too along the boards. The Swedes set it up. Hansen moves out front. The hook on him by Lushko. That goes back to the blue. Johansson tips it in. Johansson calling for it as Bergqvist throws it in. Johansson to Naslund. Bergqvist right from the side. Forsberg was right out front and couldn't get the tip. Svensson along the boards. Bergqvist taps it behind. A one-timer. Hansen couldn't get it. And the Canadians under a lot of pressure as Hansen is tied up by Herlock. Forsberg tries to get it back to Hansen, and the Canadians shoot it down the ice.
Forsberg and Hansen again on the power play together, doing a lot of good work. Hansen scored a power play goal in the first period. The whistle blows. The referee doesn't want to hear it from anybody. He's going right back to the penalty box. Canadians clear the puck. Johansson pulls his man down. The Swedes are arguing. Look earlier as Forsberg slides the puck right out. Hansen lets it go. That's just wide of the top corner.
And now it's the Swedish players' turn to object to the call.
It's nice to see the diplomat, Thomas Jansson, going over with a smile, having a nice word. Johansson was saying all kinds of things in Swedish. I'm glad we don't understand it, Paul, but he's in the box nonetheless for interference.
Ş.Flappke, the German referee who played hockey in Weisswasser in East Germany, now an official. That's cleared away as Rudmark couldn't get a stick to it, and the Swedes with Stillman. Good pass up on the wing. Naslund breaks into center ice. Naslund working with Rudmark. Warenka takes Naslund in, and Rudmark picks up the slack. Pass is a giveaway there. The Canadians with a 2-on-1 situation. Stillman is back. Savage gets it over. Good shot. The rebound comes in, and that's bounced into the corner. The Canadians coming up with a puck. Warenka dropping it deep. Along the boards, Norris being shadowed by Naslund. That comes back to the blue. The shot is deflected away. Estli got a piece of it. Joseph working with Norris. The two of them were actually too close together to do anything. Jansson gets it out. Jansson back to Stillman. Stillman, a lot of time, brings it to center, gives it to Lube. Lube pass to Stillman was televised or telecast, and that comes up Korea. Korea looking from Nedved out front. Korea falls, a little tip through. Nedved moves in, and the Swedes now with a chance to break with Lube. Lube at center ice just flips it in.
Мэйер back on the ice for Canada. 36 seconds left on the penalty to Johansson. The Canadians with a power play.
Мэйer to Nedved. Nedved through the red, coming up to the blue. Nedved continues to skate. Gets by Dubois. Taps it to the side of the net, right in front. Dubois is there, and the Canadians try to get it out front. Korea dropped right in front. And Nedved was right in there. In fact, his stick may have gone right through the goaltender. He gets up slowly. Salo gets up slowly.
Nedved playing with only one glove as Dubois had chopped the other one off him a few seconds earlier. Korea, crafty, clever little guy that he is behind the net, feeding the pass through for Nedved. Nedved ending up right inside the Swedish goal with Salo.
Again, from our camera in the sky, we can see Nedved powering that puck right at the goaltender and then completely wiping him and the net out.
Shot earlier by Joseph on the 2-on-1. A nice one off the post.
You get a camera looking at a camera as we get set for this face-off. 16:49 gone on the second period, 3-2. The Swedes have been playing catch-up hockey as they clear one or two things off the ice.
And the Canadians having a word to the fact that they thought the face-off should be in deep, that Nedved was helped into the Swedish goal by a Swedish player, but the face-off comes outside.
Canada with Estli. Nedved still out there. Nedved being shadowed by Bergqvist off the boards, and these Swedes are back at full strength now. The Canadians coming up quickly. Korea comes in. The diminutive Korea taken out by Dubois in the corner. Bergqvist fakes one way as Estli went down. Korea's there to try to slow it down, but he couldn't. Good pressure from Kontos in the corner. Korea is there, and another penalty on the plate. Ş.Flappke is calling everything out there. The Canadian bench saying nothing wrong with that, Red, nothing wrong with that. Well, there's the hold on the stick momentarily, but what about the hold on Kontos before that? 6-1, half a dozen. Kontos loses out. Another power play situation for the Swedes as the face-off moves out of the zone. They're 7 for 30 on the competition, 86% at killing these things off for the Canadians. Janssen with Joseph on his tail. 2.5 minutes remaining on the period. Janssen puts it up on the wing. Stillman takes a shove from behind as Мэйер rattles that off the woodwork and only get it as far as the far corner. Мэйer goes in and tries to upset that one, but it comes back to Janssen. Janssen feeds it over, shot. Doesn't make it through, and Norris collects and sends it sailing down the ice.
Мэйer getting his body in front of the shot. A good job by him as it helped Norris to just take the puck and rifle it down.
Stillman up to Bergqvist. Bergqvist hit from behind, and the Canadians in trouble again.
Well, mixed reactions from the crowd. Tom Rennie aging by the minute on the Canadian bench. Bergqvist with a couple of moves. It is a cross-check from behind. How serious, I'm not sure. Dwayne Norris expressing his views.
Less than 2 minutes on the period as the Canadians have 2 men in the box. 3-2 the score, and Norris sits for 2 for cross-checking. The Canadians will be under fire for at least the next 2 minutes, that's for sure. Forsberg goes in to take over the face-off duties. Hakanloob picks it up, slows it down, gets it back to the D. Again, Loob, who directs traffic out there. Johansson over, shot comes in, they score! Bergqvist out front, big shot from way back.
Canadians trying to get the referee to agree to a high sticking call. He isn't buying it. It didn't take the Swedes very long to strike with the 5-on-3, and they're still going to have a one-man advantage. Puck moved across, a big shot coming from Svensson. It's tipped right in front of Hirsch. The referee is just to the side of the goal, and he doesn't seem too troubled by the position of the stick. There it is. Bergqvist will have the goal.
Well, Lopes, you called it right. He may have been more troubled than you thought. He's on the phone to the boys upstairs. They're going to take a look at the video replay to see if this one is going to stand. Was it touched by a high stick?
Stick's got to be below the shoulders. The Canadians were really protesting it. So it was actually a good move by the referee to just say, well, I'll have a look at it on the video. Bergqvist right in front of Kori Hirsch trying to create a screen. The shot isn't the nicest one in the world to try and tip. It's up there pretty high. Bergqvist gets the tip on it. It does end up in the goal, but it's a question as to how the guys upstairs see it on the replay.
Johansson got it over nicely. This is the reverse angle shot. Svensson tees it up with a one-timer, slowly through the air. And is it tipped too high? What are they going to say? They're looking at the video replay just as you are on your screens. And the word comes down to Slapke.
I should think.
No goal, high stick.
I was just about to say, the way that guy was on the telephone upstairs as our camera went over there, I was just going to say, Paul, and try to be cheeky about it, that I should think he's going to say no goal, but you beat me to it as the referee. You could hear the referee.
Kurt Lindmark is not happy about that call. Neither are the rest of the Swedes. And I wonder what the call would have been without that video replay.
Well, it definitely would have been a goal because he hadn't waved it off. He hadn't said anything. He had gone to the timekeeper's bench, probably to announce the goal. And because the protest was put up about it, he then elected to go to the videotape.
I've said it before, at least a half a dozen times. I don't agree with it. I think the game should be down to human error. I know there's a lot at stake. Personal pride, a lot of money, national pride, but let's let the referee and the goal judge make the decision. But the decision is made. The face-off goes down the ice. It's still a 3-2 ball game out there. The Canadians hanging on to that lead.
With the puck being directed by a high stick, the face-off goes all the way back into Swedish territory. That's another break for the Canadians.
They still have 2 men in the box, though. And Lube starts it up to Forsberg. Forsberg is tripped in the corner. Lube touches the puck, gets it all the way back. Johansson. Johansson to Lube. Back to Johansson. He's got the big shot. They come in. They're right out front. Hurst is down. Lube is dumped again. And the Canadians shoot it all the way down the ice. And interference is the call as the Canadians dig themselves deeper and deeper in trouble.
Parks makes his way to the box. Rennie again trying to be calm on the Canadian bench. Parks for interference. They'll have 3 men in the penalty box.
If you're watching for the first time, of course, they won't have 3 men off the ice. They'll only have 2, but they'll miss those 3 players.
Great action earlier. Big shot going off the post. With the size of this crowd and the noise they're making, you couldn't hear that one very clearly, but it was a rocket from the blue line.
The Canadians still leading this one 3-2 here in the second period. One of the most exciting games so far in the competition. It really has been end-to-end stuff, and I think at times it's fair to say the Swedes have dominated, but they're not leading.
A minute and 14 to go in the period. If the Canadians can kill this off, it's going to give them a big boost going into the dressing room.
5-3 out there, and big shot coming in. Forsberg to Lube. Big check out front by Schreiber. Johansson is calling for it on the near side. 1 minute now remaining. Johansson to the far side. They want to get that one-timer right in front. Hurst goes down. Forsberg goes in with a shoulder. Bergqvist tries to get it over to Lube. He does. Gets it back to Johansson. Svensson back to Johansson. Then tip away. And the Canadians, with that first penalty expiring, will still have 2 men in the box. Johansson tips it in. Lube tips it out front. Back to Svensson, back to Johansson, time ticking down, shot comes in, and the Canadians will grab this again with Schreiber doing a great job of getting it down the ice.
A great understanding by Schreiber and Joseph up front on the penalty kill. These guys are specialists, and they're doing a good job, as well as Мэйер, number 4 on the defense.
That time it was Мэйer with 13 seconds now remaining. Johansson up to the blue. A long clearance in front. Lushko grabs that and sends it down. And that'll be it for the period. A fiery finish to the second period, but the Canadians hang on to that 1-goal lead.
20 minutes to go. The Canadians have got to go to their dressing room happy. They are killing penalties off. It's come right to a finish that has been exciting. The Swedes haven't been able to bury the puck. They've had a goal disallowed. They're going to come out firing in this third period. We're in for some great action, Paul.
Well, the Swedes have great depth. They have so many individual players who could play at the highest level in the world, so they'll be back. I'm sure we have 20 minutes of hockey remaining. Kontos, Lushko and Nedved for Canada, Hansen and Lube. That's been the scoring so far. Still a lot more action to come on Eurosport. Remember, tonight, USA against Italy. That's going to be a big one. That's for the 4th and final position in the group. So be sure to tune in to that one. We're going to take a break now. Stay with us. Third and final period coming up. 3-2 the score. Canada leading Sweden right now. Welcome back to live ice hockey on Eurosport. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. Norris for the Canadians still in the box. And so is Parks. And the Canadians lead this one, Bopes, 3-2 after 40 minutes of hockey, but the Swedes have had the better of the play.
The Swedes have had 30 shots on the Canadian goal. The Canadians have had 20 against Salo in the Swedish net.
Just 3 seconds on the first Canadian penalty. Norris will come out of the box in a moment. Janssen with the Canadians getting back to 4 men out there. Parks stays in for a while as Lubson pins his man to the boards. Forsberg taps it to the hash marks, and the Swedes set it up. The Swedes playing from left to right on your screens. 57 seconds on the power play. Hansen in front, as he's been so many times. A wraparound doesn't come. The Canadians able to get it out. A break now for Canada, coming down quickly. Norris has got the good shot, and that's just wide of the target with 40 seconds on the power play. Forsberg goes in, he's taken out of it, and Schreiber couldn't clear it out of the zone. The Canadians rattle it off the backboards, and eventually Warenka flips it high out into neutral ice territory. Canada have done a good job of killing off these penalties, but they're still not over yet. 20 seconds now on the power play for the Swedes. Warenka, a little tip into the corner to Waugh. His return pass is not a good one. That comes back, and the Swedes unable to keep it in the zone, and that should be it. The Canadians now back at full strength as Parks jumps on the ice, and a great round of applause from the Canadian supporters. Big shot by Svensson. That deflected into the corner, and Estli takes it away from Julin. Big chop on Julin, and the Canadians along the boards trying to bring it out. Schreiber taps it up to Waugh. Waugh hits the blue, tries to get it back to Schreiber, and the Swedes come back in numbers. Great stuff from Julin as he throws the rink-wide pass, and the Swedes really making the most of this ice rink. Julin back on the attack. 2 minutes gone now on the period. Julin right into Naslin's stick. Naslin working well. Rydmark wants the puck. Schlegel picks it up. Can't get it out of his skate. Julin is there to take it, and Parks tries to tie him up, and he does. Canada with 1, 2, 3, 4 players in the corner. Eventually they get it out of their own zone. The Canadians now moving forward, coming up quickly, dragged down. Johansson getting the hook in.
Wally Schreiber pulled down. He was through the defense. Johansson doing the only thing he could do, putting the quick hook on Schreiber. Johansson going straight to the penalty box.
Schreiber had been out there for a long time.
Schreiber and Waugh both, Paul, had been out there for a heck of a long time. Waugh feeding the pass through. Schreiber doing his best to stay on his feet, but he's pulled down, and there's no question about the call.
Johansson picks up his second penalty of the game.
Canadians have been 0 for 3 on the power play in this game.
Ponto smothered on the play, unable to get in. Coming back quickly, the Swedes breaking right up the ice. Duboya goes for a big skate. His clearance is intercepted by Kontos. Kontos, in turn, has his pass intercepted by Lube. Warenka has trouble, or Aucoin rather has trouble, and he throws it to the far side to take it away. And a long clearance by the Swedes with 1:28 remaining on the power play. Warenka and Aucoin working on the D for Canada. Johnson finds an opening. Johnson goes in, takes the shot. Stillman goes after it. Warenka is up quickly, and he's there. Little tap from the side of the net. And the Swedes getting back in numbers to close that one down before it starts. 1:04 as Johnson flies that one up to the blue, and the Swedes now come back on the attack. Bergqvist circles and eventually flips it all the way down into his own zone as both teams change on the fly. 48 seconds remaining on the power play. Warenka deep for Canada, starts it up. Bergqvist stays on him. Warenka drops it back, and Canada with Nedved. Nedved losing the puck in the neutral zone, collects, throws it up. Savage, the intended receiver. Norris now has it for Canada. Norris with that burst of speed. Good move. Norris lets the shot go right on the money. Salo No mistakes there.
Norris so quick to get the shot off. We've seen this guy do it throughout these Olympic Games. Dwayne Norris, number 10. He's got good legs and he can really let the shot go in a hurry. Former star hockey player from Michigan State University.
It's so difficult for a coach to communicate with someone out on the ice, especially with all the noise in the stands here. And now the word gets out to Savage and Norris from Nedved. Savage in the face-off circle. Norris is dumped. Savage goes after it. Some good stuff by the Swedes as they muscle. Norris somehow gets it back to Мэйер. Мэйer throws it into the hash marks. Norris going the wrong way as far as we were concerned, and Мэйer gets it for Canada. 6 seconds on the power play. Nedved rattles that in deep. Salo slows it down. The Canadians move in, and Rolin is there. The Swedes are back at full strength. Savage couldn't hold it down. A bouncing shot goes to Salo, and he gloves it down for the face-off. Team's back at full strength.
The idea was right. Savage doing some good work in the corner with Norris. Nedved trying to tee it up. Bouncing pucks aren't the easiest for the goalies to handle sometimes, but the Swedes, having just killed off a penalty, Salo doing the right thing just to hold on to the puck, allowing the Swedes to get fresh unit out there.
And again, we see Rennie shifting his lines around. Back onto Lovson's stick. Lovson right out front, and the Swedes now with a burst of speed. Rudmark, Julin, bouncing puck. Parks is poke checked off the play, but somehow got the puck back. Throws it up, and a break going down for Шлегел. Dubois, big hit on him as Joseph moves in. Throws it behind the net from the side of the net. Шлегел tried to get it out front. Shot comes in. Oh, right there. Шлегel couldn't put it away. Parks moves along the boards. Шлегel throws it behind the goal. Joseph is manhandled. And the Canadians try to get it away from Dubois. Korea right out front. The shot comes in. Parks is right there. And the Canadians all over that net for the first 2 periods. It's fair to say that the Swedes dominated, although they didn't dominate on the score sheet. They certainly outshot and out-hustled the Canadians. But right now, it's Canada with a lot of the pressure.
Mats Naslund just not happy with what he saw in his own end of the ice. Quickly fired it down into Canadian territory. Happy to hear the whistle blow. Great pressure by the Canadians. Big shot from Estli. Puck is right there. Somehow the Canadians fail to put that one away.
Every time you see a Canadian forward, you see a Swedish defender. And a moment before that, you saw the slow motion replay of Dubois bringing his man down. Right in front, loose puck is there. Schreiber was tied up and spun around as that came to the side of the goal that was wide open. Savage drops it back, and Canada continue to apply the pressure. Schreiber drops it in. Lube goes after his man. Canada with 1:33 on the power play. A little tip up, a misunderstanding in the Swedes. Good defensive quick thinking there to knock it all the way down the ice. Estli drops it off. Canada with a roar from the Canadian supporters, picking it up. Nedved trying to split the defense, throws it up to Waugh, and the pass was always too slow for the Canadians to get over that line in time to avoid the offside.
It was close. The idea was certainly right. The Canadians are still on a good spell here. The Swedes have taken the last 2 penalties in this game. Johansson earlier for hooking. The Canadians applied all kinds of pressure. Now Dubois is in the box. And the Canadians are still moving the puck around nicely. It's just a matter of time.
From the face-off, Forsberg spun around, but that comes back to Stillman. Stillman's clearance is batted down. And we have a face-off in the Canadian zone as Kontos got the high stick to it.
Absolutely. Line spin. Going for a skate. The face-off will be in the Canadian end of the ice. Kori Hirish getting a touch. The stick over the shoulders.
Both teams really up for this game. It's the last one in the first round. And it's all about positioning in this competition. Shot is a high one. Estli. Bergqvist is in there. Bergqvist knocks him to the ice. Estli throws the puck along, and the Canadians start quickly. Forsberg getting in a position. Correa from the side of the net. Good move. Correa falls again. And penalty is the call.
Janssen is going to join Dubois in the penalty box. We were a little critical of some of the penalties the Canadians were taking earlier. Now the Swedes have taken over from them, getting themselves in penalty trouble. The Canadians are just as good at putting the puck away as anybody. The Swedes can't be taking these penalties. Janssen knows better, if anybody does.
.650 the time of the penalty. So the Swedes with two players in the box, a 5-on-3 situation. The Canadians with the face-off deep in Swedish territory. 6:50 gone on the period. The Canadians leading 3-2 out there. And the Canadians have always been in the lead. 46 seconds and 2 minutes the time remaining on the two penalties.
The Canadians have been down 2 men. They've gone with 2 forwards and a defenseman. The Swedes electing to go with just Bergqvist up front with 2 defensemen.
Estli, the return pass. Estli gets it over to the far side. Kontos, Nedved, Correa right in front. Loose puck. Salo grabs it. Salo making no mistake on that at all, forces another face-off. He's had 22 saves so far. Conceded 3 goals. Face-off again. Kontos on the wing, parks the face-off. That comes all the way back to the blue. Aucoin on this side. Johnson takes it up to the high slot. The return pass is there. Johnson again gets it into the circle. The Canadians trying to work this one in. They've got a lot of time. Big shot comes in, and again Salo robbing Correa.
Canadians going out high, then dropping it into that off slot area. Correa, a left shot, playing the right side. 5-on-3, there's plenty of room for that. Johnson feeding it down. Correa getting all of it. A good save by Salo in the right place at the right time.
The pressure now has shifted into the Swedish zone. Nedved takes over the center duties, and Tom Rennie really shuffling those lines. Wawrinka, he's got the big shot. Throws it back. Wawrinka again. Is he going to let it go? One-timer off the backboards. And Wawrinka moves up quickly. Schreiber on the wing. Wawrinka has a lot of opportunity. A shot. It goes right deep. Rebound is there. And again, the Canadians unable to pop it home. 5-on-4 now as Wawrinka moves up to the hash marks. He takes a mauling from Dubois, who's back on the ice. That trickles over the blue. And Waugh brings it back with less than a minute on the remaining penalty to Janssen. Nedved gets away from Lube. Nedved streaks up to the red line, drops it back in the corner to Nedved, and the Canadians setting it up deep in Swedish territory. Norris is along the boards. Canada trying to get that shot away. Johnson taps it in. The Swedes wanted the offside. It didn't come. From the hash marks now, Nedved slows it right down. A little interference as Nedved goes in, fans on the shot, and the Swedes with Lube started up. Lube is coming up with Ornskog, and Ornskog elects to go down the ice, and that'll kill off yet a few more seconds. 15 seconds on the power play as Svensson drives it down the ice. Norris for Canada doubles back. A change of personnel out there. Another whistle on the plate. This is not the kind of penalty the team likes to get at any stage, let alone this stage of a game.
It's funny, Paul, when Norris was starting to go up the ice, he circled back. You looked at me immediately and you had the hands going. I was trying to read your sign language. You could see too many guys out on the ice. It was a good call, Waugh going to the box. Tom Rennie not happy behind the Canadian bench.
Bench minor penalty. Too many men on the ice at 8:43. Johnson will be back. Now he's back. Hansen with 1:49 on the power play for Sweden. Stillman circling behind his own goal. The Swedes trail by 1. What can they do on this power play? Forsberg slows it down in the Canadian zone. Gives it to Johnson, back to Forsberg. Forsberg with a lot of traffic in front of that goal. Forsberg now, big shot, throws it to the far side. Hirsch falls down. Hansen goes in. Bergqvist is there. Hansen back to the blue. Johnson wants it right at the blue line. Johnson gets it. Shot goes in. That hit the post. Took a deflection. Herlock got a piece of it for Canada, and that hit the post. Another big shot goes in, and that's deflected away upstairs. A big swipe, but the Johnson gets in there to smother it along the boards. A lot of digging from the Swedes, 3 of them positioned on that right side. Hansen, as the referee gets out of the way. Hansen and Forsberg being manhandled, cross-checked, but somehow they manage to keep onto it. 3 players in the corner. Johnson, Bergqvist. Bergqvist into the red line, looking for Forsberg. Along to Johnson, back to Forsberg. A lot of time. The Swedes want to get it right. And Johnson got the shot away. That was deflected away. And perhaps the Swedes are guilty, if anything, of taking a little too long on these opportunities. And really make sure it's just right for them.
Having been a goalie, Paul, how do you like plays like that? Your defensemen think they're doing the right thing, but that was a close call.
That's a nightmare, because you've already committed yourself. You're on your way. There's no way you can get back, no matter what happens there. You want your defensemen to stop it, but you hate when they deflect it and just slightly change the direction of that puck. Rydmark takes over the face-off duties for the Swedes. Julin taps it back. Svensson winds up, and ooh, that one hurts. Canada rattle that off the boards. Parks goes in. Canada still under pressure. Big save as Hirsch got that one up high, and Hirsch is seeing stars out there.
He's going for a skate to try and clear the cobwebs. A nice gesture by Mats Naslund to go up to Hirsch and say, all right, that one hurt. Big shot by Svensson at just inside the blue line. It takes a quick deflection. Hirsch felt that one.
Again, he goes down to make the play low down, so he's committed himself. His glove is down, his stick is down, he's kneeling down, and there's the slight touch by Julin to send it up into the face mask. Thank heavens for those face masks, that's all I can say, and I'm sure he's saying the same thing. Svensson up onto the hash marks. 7 seconds on the power play for Sweden. They've done everything but score. Back, shot, loose puck, cleared away. And that goes out over the line, and the Canadians are back at full strength.
Again, the Canadians survive a shorthanded situation. Both of these teams have found themselves killing penalties throughout this game. Hirsch with a couple of close calls, shots being deflected, tipped. Not easy for the goaltenders. Power plays for the Swedes haven't been very impressive. The Canadians have stopped them 9 out of 10 times.
Both teams are playing excellent hockey out there, and the fans are enjoying it. I hope you are too at home. Hornskog moves in against Savage. Less than 10 minutes on the game. Still anyone's game. I got him was the call. Has he? Hurst makes the save. Kontos gets it out of the zone. That's all he was caring about out there. Duboya. Korea goes after him as that's tipped up onto the wing. Rolin takes a shove for his troubles, and the Swedes break quickly. Hornskog, Kjellberg, his shot took a deflection off Loveson, and Duboya gets in a hurry to tap it along the boards. Rolin, another hit on him. This time it comes from Savage. Estli along the boards. The Canadian defenseman, his clearances tapped off a skate, and the Swedes moving up quickly as Canada tries to get back. Hansen is hit by Aucoin. One or two Swedish spectators did not like that call, or lack of call.
Canadians playing it tough in their own end. Still anybody's game, Paul. 3-2 score. What action the people here have been treated to. This has been a great game. Later on today, the Slovaks go up against the French. The French are real up and down side. Linka sitting in the crowd, the Czech Republican coach, making the comment earlier that if he goes up against the Slovaks and they lose, he'll have to move to an island. He will not be able to return home. That's what he feels anyway. USA against Italy later on, and that'll be on Eurosport, so be sure to stay with us. More great hockey action coming up. Hansen is dragged down as the Canadians try to get it out of their zone, but Bergqvist and co are just a little too strong for them at the moment. The Canadians, the rink-wide pass through the middle, Canada, and that's considered a two-liner. Nedved was off to the races there, but the whistle had already blown. 3-2 to score. The Canadians still leading this one here in the third and final period. This is live on Eurosport. Excellent, excellent atmosphere, carnival atmosphere, lots of drums, lots of rock and roll, pop music, call it what you will, but the people loving it. Painted faces, youngsters waving flags, it's all happening, it's all here. Bergqvist couldn't get the tip on that. Canada drop it back. Still a lot of time on this hockey game as the Canadians bring it up. Nedved gets the final touch. Salo slows it down. Waugh moves in, unable to get to it. Nedved muscling. Waugh moves in to help out. Throws it into the corner. The Canadians now. Schreiber trying to hit Estli. Estli tried to bring it out front. From the side of the net, Salo goes down. Nedved a little bit bigger than Waugh, moving in quickly to make sure his line mate is protected. Salo quick to react on that one. Face-off will be in Swedish territory, as it really is difficult to separate these two teams. Both playing strong defensively and offensively too. Face-off now is moved out of the zone. Long rink-wide pass, and the Canadians going after Naslund as he taps it away. Loose puck in neutral ice. Another whistle on the plate. Naslund's pass going over two lines before it was touched by another Swedish player offside the call. Let some musicians in the building get themselves going again. From the face-off, the
Swedes win the draw as we approach the 13-minute mark of the period. Johnson goes after him, and that's fired all the way into the corner. Bounces out along the boards. Julin is grabbed and held. The Swedes pump it into the corner. Naslund goes in a hurry. Мэйер backhands out along the board, starts his way out, and that bounces into neutral ice territory. Canada trying to move this one, and they do with Korea. Korea dropping it back. Shot. Salo makes the save. Kontos got a piece of it. Picked up quickly. Here comes Naslund. Naslund hits the red, hits the blue. Naslund with room to move. Härlok gets the high stick up. And a lot of Swedish supporters calling for a hooking penalty, but it doesn't come. Kontos. Svensson, a high bouncing puck now. Ornskog. Korea goes in and feeds it back. Мэйер looking for places to go. Härlok taken out of the play. Loose puck, and Kontos picks it up for Canada. Another whistle on the play. And this official getting right in there before anything is allowed to start.
Kontos tearing down the ice. Play brought to a quick halt as Мэйер got involved with Rydmark. Мэйer, no stranger to the penalty box. He's been there a few times in this game. Close action around Hursh. Мэйer taking exception to Rydmark, even just putting a hand on Corey Hirsch's back.
Roughing penalties being handed out to Rydmark and Мэйer. 13:51 is the time, and face-off in neutral ice territory. Ornskog moves in. Parks is on him. The Canadians pick it up on the D. Warenka a little back to Lishko, and the Swedes able to keep that in as the puck bobbled along the blue line. Parks drops it back. Ornskog moves in quickly. Parks now for Canada. Parks, long pass up, and the Canadians trying to get it going with Lishko on the wing. Lishko and Parks bustling in the corner. Lube moves in. Couldn't get a handle on it. Shot from Warenka is stopped nicely by Svensson. And the Swedes get it out of the zone, but can't hang on to the puck. Big chop as the Swedes started up again, and Jonsson takes it in his own zone. Shadow from Waugh. Pass up on the left wing, back to the right wing. Håkon Lube through center. Lube drops it off. The Swedes great at throwing that puck around. Forsberg on the backhand. Hirsch was there. The final 5 minutes of the hockey game as the Canadians bring it up. Estli looking for Korea. That didn't happen. The Swedes not content with trying to get it out of the zone, but they're trying to take it up the rink. Good pass through the middle. Forsberg, his pass, or he was the intended receiver, intercepted by Waugh. Waugh took a big hit. Shot! Hirsch, big save. Jonsson back at the blue. Stillman is over on this side. Behind the net, Hansen taken out by Lubson, and his pass was grabbed by the Canadians. Coming up now, Kontos. Korea looking for Estli off his skate. And Estli goes back to grab it. And Warenka waits for a change of personnel out there. 7 seconds on the coincidental penalties as that's shot down the ice.
Rydmark and Мэйer getting set to come back onto the ice.
Jonsson, both teams back at full strength. A lazy shot in. Hirsch leaves that for Warenka. Julin is grabbed on the play, but Julin picks it up. Rydmark takes the shot, and he just misses the far corner. Pass up into neutral ice territory, and Dubois gets his stick up high, and Dubois is being called on the high stick on Norris. Could that be two? Could it be more?
Be an interesting call. Joseph just directing a little pass out of the zone to Norris. Dubois coming in quickly. The stick got up there. Norris is down and hurt. Coaching staff gets to have a quick word about what they want to do with the man advantage.
Tom Rennie actually smiled there, folks.
Happy to see some of the calls going the other way in this third period. A 2-minute high sticking penalty has been called on Dubois. The Canadians will have the man advantage.
Less than 4 minutes remaining on the game. And you can see the trainer in there checking the teeth. As you say, counting the chiclets. Counting the chiclets is right. I've been there, Paul. That's no fun. Look, I came in with 2 in the front. Have I still got 2? That's the main concern. Hornskog in the face-off circle gets that back against Nedved, and the Swedes dump it. Hirsch slows it down for Wawrinka. Nedved, who's seeing a lot of ice time out there, brings it up quickly. A little pass through center ice, and Schreiber slams on the brakes. Nedved moves into the corner, calls for it and gets it behind the red. Johansson goes after him. Schreiber picks up the puck. Back to Nedved. Nedved being smothered on the far side. Kontos now has the puck. Tries to get it to Nedved. Some good stuff by Rolin, but look at the Swedes closing them down. Hornskog goes in, and a high puck goes over the plexi. And the Canadians try to save it from going over by bringing it back with a high stick, but that doesn't work.
Position of the face-off is very important. The Canadians would like to have it as deep as possible in Swedish territory.
The Swedes are so great when they're killing off penalties. They press, and they really don't let you settle. Johnson from the face-off, right out front, the shot. And the Canadians behind the goal trying to work in with Parks doing a lot of hard work. That came back to Meyer. Meyer again can't control it. 1:06 on the power play. Meyer rattles it off the woodwork. Johnson to the far side. And the Canadians now settle up. Lube is out front. Johnson has Meyer. Johnson will take it for a skate. He's also killing off the game clock. Little shot goes right through. Parks was right out front, but he was dumped. And the Swedes go back on the offensive. Lube decides to double back with just 32 seconds on the power play. Janssen has trouble staying on his feet and somehow maintained his composure. Threw it in, but Meyer taps it out. Korea. And the goaltender perhaps does the sensible thing, allows the change of Swedish lineup out there. It'll also help the Canadians too, but he takes the sting out of any attack that was developing. Dubois still in the penalty box. High sticking on Norris. And the score 3-2, Canadians leading in a game that has been real up and down for both teams.
You can bet the Slovakians are watching this one close. They've got the French today, and they would probably be pushing for the Canadians to continue on and win this game.
Norris took the shot with 9 seconds to go. Thrown in behind the goal. Forsberg is there. Keep your eye on Salo. Will he come out of the net? He'll keep his eye on Lundmark. The Swedes back at full strength as Forsberg pushes it deep behind the Swedish goal. The Canadians apply the pressure, and the Swedes now bring it out. Some good stuff from Norris to bring his man down in neutral ice territory. A chance now for Canada. Lushko will take it in behind the red line. The Canadians want to keep it deep. Forsberg. Norris getting back in a hurry. And some good back-checking by the Canadians. Another whistle on the plate. And another change of personnel for both teams.
The 2 points are exactly right, Paul. When the Canadians are in the Swedish zone, they want to keep the puck down low. They'll bump and grind and try and keep it along the boards. Not throw the Hail Mary pass to the front of the net. and they'll be back checking ever so hard now.
Cello gets instructions. He wants to know, should I wait for the face-off in the Canadian zone? Should I go when we've got possession? Let me know. The coach will have one eye on the play and one eye on the goaltender. Yulin shot. Just misses the far post. Yulin again. This guy's a danger man. Coming up to the final minute. Naslund taken out in the corner. Rudmark behind the net. Wawrinka stays on him. Pumped along the boards by Lubson. Schreiber is there. Schreiber gets it out of the zone. Long clearance back into the corner. The Canadians have room to move. Wawrinka flips it high, and that's gloved down. No whistle on the play as Naslund has it. Tipped away, still right in front. And the Canadians rattle it off the boards, and that goes into neutral ice territory. The Swedes unable to settle. The Swedes unable to get it going. 28 seconds on the clock. Wawrinka slapping it out of the zone, and that's shot right back in, but the Swedes have to come out. Now they race right back in. Wawrinka is there to golf it off the plexi. No icing on the call. 10 seconds. Naslund running out of places to go, and the Canadians pick it up and bring it forward. They're going to win this one. There goes the buzzer. Hirish puts the stick up, and everyone goes back to congratulate the goaltender. The final score, the Canadians 3, the Swedes 2, but what an end-to-end ice hockey game. Well, we've got a few seconds remaining. Bobes, how about men of the match? I'm going to put you on the spot, a tough one here.
For the Canadians, I'm going with Wally Schreiber. He didn't have a goal, but he did a lot for the Canadians in this game.
And how about for the Swedes?
I'm going to go with Hansen, number 11, Roger Hansen. He played an outstanding game for the Swedes.
USA against Italy tonight.